Okay, guys. So you all understood the body membranes, and then there was, sorry.
Yes, I said yes.
Okay. I said we have four of them. We have the cutaneous, we have the mucus, we have the serous, and we have the synovial. Right. What you have to know about the synovial is that it is found in joints. That is all you have to know. I won't discuss the synovial for now. Are we clear? So we have the cutaneous, we have the mucous membrane, we have the serous membrane, and then we have the synovial membrane. Synovial, right? So these first three, this cutaneous, your cutaneous membrane, your mucous membrane, and your serous membrane, they are often referred to as epithelial membranes. So if you see this, instead of them saying he, or maybe they say give us um, three types of epithelial membranes, just give them this cutaneous, mucus, and serous. This synovial is what? It's a connective membrane or connective tissue membrane. But for the mere fact that these are epithelial membranes, it doesn't mean that your cutaneous membrane, since it's the skin, don't forget that the dermis is connective tissue. Although overall we take the cutaneous membrane to say it is an epithelial membrane. Are we fine? And then what you have to know, now we go to the bends. So after this, if you don't have questions, sorry guys. So you know, let me just say, right, even skin cancer, because we are going to do skin cancer as well. These are the things that I didn't mention since from this is the third day, right? Guys, is it the third day or fourth? Londi, are you saying something? I didn't say mute your mic. I'm asking, are you saying something? Guys, I'm asking if this is the third or fourth day. Why aren't you talking today? Are you tired? I didn't hear anything, Londi, so I assume it's not. Okay. I think you should go to the audio settings after this meeting and check what's happening there. I think the problem might be there. Guys, if you don't respond, I don't know whether you hear me or not, or if you understand, because you're just quiet. So I assume that you hear me. So sometimes your skin can burn, right? And depends if you have. Thank you, Londi. The burns can result in loss of body fluids, right? Body fluids can be water, the interstitial fluid, the cytoplasm, anything, blood. See, those are your body fluids. And if we lose body fluids, it means we lose nutrients as well, right? And then that is not great. And if, let's assume this was your skin and it bends here, it bends. It means that bacteria and other foreign particles can now come into the skin because there is no longer, the epidermis is no longer like tightly bound, right? It has bent here. So it's easier for the foreign particles to come into the skin, right? And then what I want you to know, what is important, the two important things that I want you to know about the pens is the extent, like, because they always ask you this question, what do they use? Or they'll say maybe which rule do they use to determine the extent of the pen, right? When we say the extent of the pen, we say we mean surface area. Like, did you only bend your hand? Did you bend the whole of your arm? Did you only bend your fingertips? You see, that is what we mean by extent, right? That is what we mean by extent. So the rule they use to determine the extent of the pen is what we call the rule of 9. So if this was you, if maybe you bend here, because your head is 9%, accounts for 9%. I won't write percentages, but just know that it's all percentages. The front and the back of your head, meaning if you can bend on the front of your head and at the back of your head, they say that you bend 9% of the skin. Do you get me? And now the question is, why are they using these percentages? They use those percentages to scale, like which nutrient should they give you, what should they do for you, and everything, which medication should they give you, and basically is the attention they should give you. Because the more the percentage, it means the less chances of you living, because you might have bent important structures and everything, you see. So one arm, the whole of this arm, the front and the back, it's also 9%. Also, this one is also 9%. The top part of your chest is 9%. The bottom part of your chest is 9%. Your groin or genital areas is 1%, right? Your left is 9%, 9%. At the back, it's 18% all in all, because it's the top part of your back and the bottom. So the reason we call it the rule of nines is because we have many nines here, many nines, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. So that is why we call it the rule of nines. But this is divided into 4.5 and everything, but you'll be confusing yourself, right? Just know it's the rule of nines and understand why they use it and why it's a purpose, right? The purpose is to determine like the medication and nutrients and whether you need blood or body fluids or everything they should give you, right? It just tells tells them how much attention and what you need. So the extent of the pain is measured using the rule of nines, right? But the severity, right, or meaning like the depth, how deep the pain is. The severity, I just said your severity, it's how deep. It's how deep it is, right? If this is your skin and this is your epidermis and this is your dermis and this here is your hypodermis. So this is your epidermis, this is your dermis, and this is your hypodermis. By the severity of the pain, we mean how deep is it? Did you only burn the epidermis? Did you burn up to the dermis? Did you burn up to the hypodermis? Or did you burn the whole up until beneath? Because here beneath the hypodermis is where we have your muscles and bones, right? So when we speak about the extent, we said we use the rule of nines. When we speak about the severity, we use degrees, right? So if they said that or you go to the hospital and then they say that it's a first degree burn, what are they saying is that you only burned the epidermis. That is the first degree burn, right? You only burned your epidermis, right? Sometimes you can burn and then you see that there's no blood or it's just whitish and everything, but there's no blood, right? And it like when you're burned by hot water by mistake and those things, and it's not that severe. After 2 weeks or so, it heals itself. That was the first degree burn, right? If you have a second degree burn, it means that you burned the epidermis and part of the dermis, right? It's your epidermis and part. They will ask you this in your multiple choice to say, second degree burn, does it mean I only burned epidermis only, the whole of dermis? What they will confuse you. So first degree, just know it's only your epidermis only. Second degree is your epidermis and part of the dermis. And then your third degree, meaning for your second degree, you might bleed because remember we have blood vessels in the dermis, right? And your skin might be reddish and everything. And then for your third degree burn, you burn your epidermis and your whole of the dermis, right? And then your fourth degree, which sometimes can be the reason why they would have to amputate a part of your body, why they would have to cut it, right? Because the fourth degree goes to the hypodermis. It can even go to the bones and the muscles. So you burn in such a way that you even burn your muscles, right? So then that part of the body might be useless. So they might have to amputate it because you burn the blood vessels and everything. So there's nothing that is going to give nutrients to that part of the body anymore. So these are the four degrees that you have to know. I hope we are clear. And then we go directly to the skin cancer. Let me erase this. Guys, if you didn't understand something because it feels like you're afraid to ask me or you're tired or what, I don't know. go to the notes that I gave you. Try to read through, because those notes will be difficult themselves if you didn't understand. You feel like you're reading a textbook. I hope we are on the same page.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, at which degree, when you experience pain, then there is whitish skin appearing? First degree. But it won't always be whitish, right? But most of the time it is. And you don't really bleed that much. Like you burn yourself and then your arm, it's just painful. Have you held a hot kettle before? Or you take your hand, you put it in a hot plate of stove, and then just put it there for a second or two. You burn, but there's no blood afterwards. You just see something like a bruise, your skin turns whitish. It's really, really, really painful, but there's no blood. That's a first degree pain. You only bend your epidermis. After a few days, it will be fine. It will repair itself. But if you can place your hand in that plate of stove for a minute or so, you will end up bleeding, right? Because then that would have extended to the dermis. I hope you're clear. And then going to skin cancer, what do you have to know? Before you can even go further, I want to um, just dissect the weight cancer before. You know that your cells divide, obviously, by mitosis, right? Which is a good thing. Without mitosis, we wouldn't grow. But if your cells now do it too much in an uncontrolled rate, right? Faster than they should, right? That is where cancer comes from. And most of the time, those cells that do that are cells that were programmed to be dead. But now they are not, they didn't die. So what they do, they grow and grow and grow, and then they go to other cells, and some of their contents start diffusing to other cells, and then other cells start growing at a rapid rate also. And then it's just uncontrolled. They just grow and grow massively in a short period of time. That is cancer, right? So your skin cancer might be caused by smoking. It might be caused by ultraviolet sun rays, which is the case most of the time. It might be caused by DNA changes. Yeah, it might be a lot of things, right? So when it comes to environmental factors, it's your smoking, the most common type, and your UV radiation, right? And then we have a lot of different cancers. We have about 7 types of them, right? We have leukemia, which are the ones that affect cancer of the blood cells. You can have cancer of the epithelial tissue, which we call carcinoma. And you can also have cancer of the connective tissue, which we call, what is it? Um, okay, guys, I'll check it for you. I forgot it. But it also ends with norma, right? But I'll check it for you. I'll check it for you. Remind me, right? But for this integumentary system, you don't have to know all those kind of cancers. You just have to focus on the cancer of the epithelial tissue, which is what we call it carcinoma, right? Carcinoma. So we have 3 types of cancers or 3 types of carcinoma. Don't say we have 3 types of cancer overall. I say we have 7 types of cancers. But amongst those 7, there is a cancer. Let me just do this because I know someone will misquote what I'm saying. Up until 7, we have 7 types of cancers, right? The first one, I'm saying that It's the cancer of the epithelial tissue, which we call what? Carcinoma. So we have three types of carcinoma. We have three types of carcinoma. Let me just type this in. We have the basal carcinoma. We have the squamous cell carcinoma. This you have to know. They will ask you, I'm 100% sure. You also have to know the melanoma. Sometimes they say malignant melanoma. Let me read malignant melanoma because that's what they like using in exams. But you can simply say melanoma, it's still fine. Okay, it's fine in this order. So this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third type of what? Carcinoma. So your basal carcinoma is from which stratum? Just by thinking about the word basal, which stratum?
Basal.
Stratum basal. So this one is from stratum basal, right? So meaning in your stratum basal, the cells, one cell starts dividing in a rapid rate, right? Resulting in basal carcinoma. Are we clear? And what you have to know, what they like asking also, is they can say to you which one amongst the three types of skin cancer, which one is the most common one? This one is the most common one. The basal carcinoma is the most common one. Most of the time when you hear people saying we have skin cancer, you might find that 80% of the time they have what? Basal carcinoma. And then this one, the squamous carcinoma, it happens in which stratum? In stratum spinosum. Why? I'm pretty sure you're asking yourself, why specifically these two stratum? Why not the other stratum? If you remember quite well, we said that cells divide in your stratum basale, right? If this is your stratum spinosum, when they get here, they still have that mitotic division capabilities in them. But by the time they get to granulosum, they don't divide anymore. They no longer have enough nutrients, right? So when they get to granulosum, what do they start to do? They start to die. So they can't divide when they start to die. So that is the reason why this cancer takes place in stratum basal and stratum spinosum. I hope that makes sense. And to be more specific, which cells in stratum spinosum? Because remember in stratum spinosum, I said we have keratinocytes and we also have what? Langerhans cells, right? So it's not the Langerhans cells that result in squamous carcinoma. It's the keratinocytes. I hope you're clear. And then when we go to the melanoma, melanoma is what? Is cancer of what? Of the melanocytes. And then this word malignant simply means that the cancer, if this was a tumor in some way, maybe in this case, it would be a tumor in your melanocytes. It means that if we say that cancer is malignant, it means that it now has the capability of spreading to other body parts, it can spread to other body parts. So we say that it is now malignant. So these two, your basal carcinoma and your squamous carcinoma, they can be cured. Most of the time, they can be cured. But this one, what you have to know about the melanoma is that it is deadly. So when you have melanoma cancer, skin cancer, you can die. Normally, the life expectancy, depending on the stage, if they find that you are in stage 4, which stage is stage 4? The malignant stage, whereby the cell has now the ability to spread to other body parts. We say it's now stage 4. When it's there, you have about, depending on how long you've been having it, right? You can have a maximum of 2 weeks to live. You can have a maximum of 10 months to live. So that is how doctors are able to estimate. It doesn't mean that when a doctor says that you have 2 weeks to live, that surely after 2 weeks you'll die. No. Right? They are estimating based on how far it is, like the stage of that cancer, and they check a lot of things, right? So how are these ones cured? This one is it is rather treated rather than cured. So you'll undergo chemotherapy. They can give you immunosuppressants, you see, just to assist you. So meaning that how long you live depends on how it depends on how serious you are with the medication they give you. Even if you can be serious, sometimes you can still die, right? And it also depends on your body type. How does your body respond to that medication? How's your body responding to chemotherapy? How's your body responding to the immunosuppressants that they're giving you? How's your body responding to immunotherapy, right? Because immunotherapy most of the time is the one which increases the chances of you being better, but at the same time, it's risky because your body might not respond in a great way, so you might die. But if your body responds in a way, you can live, right? So it's just a 50-50% chance. And then, yeah, you just have to know that the melanoma is the deadly type of skin cancer, and that it can be detected using the ABCD rule. Before I can even forget, it can be detected using the ABCD rule. So if you see the ABCD rule in your exam and you see the rule of nines, please know which one is for which. The rule of nines is for the pains and specifically for what? For the extent of the pain. Whereas your ABCD rule is for determining if that cancer is a melanoma cancer or not. Are we clear?
Sir?
Huh?
Sir?
Are we clear?
This type of cancer that you're talking about, is the one you were talking about yesterday? Hello?
Come again.
This type of cancer, the melanoma cancer that you're talking about, is it the one you were talking about yesterday when you
Yes.
said that it can also be detected when, like, you have that black line in the middle of the nail?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not always the case that when you have melanoma that it will be detected in your nail. But most of the time, right? Meaning that if they, okay guys, we are left with 10 minutes. After this session, if it kicks you out, don't come back. So if you detect it in your nail, it means that it might still be in its early stages. Are we clear?
Yes.
So we use the ABCD rule to determine if that cancer is a melanoma type of a skin cancer. So what does this A stand for? The A stands for, guys, can I erase everything? At which the ABCD rule is only used to determine malignant. Yes, it's only used for melanoma. Only used for melanoma. So I'm asking if I can erase everything to explain this ABCD, or should I tell you just you'll write it down yourself?
Erase everything.
So it's your ABCD rule. Guys, if it kicks you out, don't come back, don't bother, I won't be here. Just want to finish explaining this and then you tell me what is it that you don't understand. And then we'll only be left with histology, and then we are done with the integumentary system. Done. There's something that you won't understand when you study or when you do self-study, please tell me. I'll be happy to help where I can. So you as your A is for asymmetry. And then your B, okay, let me just write them down, then I'll explain. Typo error there, guys, you'll forgive me, it's border, ne? It's not what I wrote, I don't know what I wrote. Please write this down, it's very important. So your asymmetry, if let's assume that this is what you have in your skin, you have something like this in your skin. We don't care where it is, but you have something just like this in your skin. And then you go to your doctor and then you want to find out what's happening, if this is cancer. And then your doctor is like, yes, it is cancer. But since we have types of cancers, what type of a cancer it is? We already know that it's a carcinoma because we find it in the dermis. So it means it's an epithelial cancer, right? So we already know that it's a carcinoma. But we know that we have 3 types of carcinoma. So we have to find out now whether it's a basal, squamous, or a melanoma. So if it's a melanoma, it will be asymmetrical, meaning that if something is symmetrical, if we cut it in half, it will have equal sides. This one, if you cut it in half, it won't, right? So if it's not asymmetrical, and it must meet both, not both, all of these 4 things for you to conclude that it's a melanoma. If it's asymmetrical, it has border irregularity, the color is somehow, but the diameter is not what I will tell you if for it to be, right? If the diameter doesn't meet the requirements of the melanoma, you can't conclude to say that is a melanoma. It must meet all the conditions. So it's asymmetrical. What's next? Border irregularity. I said fix this, right? Remove this E. Border irregularity. What do you mean by border irregularity? Like you can see all these borders here, they were coming and being all like turning and whatever, and then this one all of a sudden decides to spike out and then it comes back, right? So the border is irregular. This border is regular in that it's smooth all around, right? Even if it might be smooth and then it does this, it's now what? It's border irregularity. The border is not clear. I hope I'm making sense. And then the color is not the same. The color of that cancer is not the same. It might be black this side, and then towards the other side, maybe another color, then maybe somewhere here, another color also as well, right? So the color is not the same. And then the diameter, if it's more than 6 millimeters, definitely it's melanoma, right? So if it's asymmetrical, if they measure from here to here, then they find that the diameter is more than 6 millimeters. And the color, you have different colors, right? Just more than one color. And there's border irregularity and it's asymmetrical. You can conclude to say it's a melanoma. And then there will be further tests after that to determine if it is really melanoma. So with that being said, guys, that's it from me for today. I feel like I told you, and I feel like my brain is just, it's not lying to me. I feel like I give you every single thing that you have to know about the integumentary system. And I don't know if you now understand it better or you're still confused. And if you're still confused, I'd love and like to know, what is it that is confusing you? How can I help? Good people, how can I help? Clear and simplified, I'm clear. How can I help? If it kicks you out, don't come back. Don't bother, please. So that silence means you understand. Lisang, if it kicks you out, don't come back. And others, this is the last session. We are left with 2 minutes. Everything is clear so far. Thank you. What about wounds? Do you also fall under bands? Oh, what types of wounds? Let's start there. Is there a question you saw about wound that you didn't understand? Because wounds, maybe blisters. What you have to know about blisters is what I told you, that they are formed between the dermal papillae, between the epidermis and the dermis. The interstitial fluid sits in between. That is what forms your blisters. And you might get your blisters as a result of second degree pain. Yeah, those are the kind of questions you might get based on blisters. I don't think there's anything more. Guys, you're left with a few seconds. It will kick you out. I hope you understood everything. I really, really hope that